who live in the Westchester portion of my district. The accident related to someone being in a grade crossing. And while we don't often think of that as an incident that involves a problem with the railroad itself, the fact is that's where the overwhelming number of fatalities occur in rail accidents are in grade crossings like the one in Valhalla, New York. 6 people were killed in this accident, the driver and 5 people on the train. There are some critical federal grant programs that relate to the safety of rail crossings. One we're working on in the PREA bill, and I want to thank the chairman and the ranking member for their assistance on this, and particularly to the subcommittee chairman and ranker, Mr. Denham, Mr. Capuano, along with Mr. Schuster, Mr. DeFazio, so that we can restore critical funding in the passenger rail bill for grade crossing safety. But also in the highway context, there's also been historically money for highway crossing and rail crossing safety money. I believe there's about $250 million in the President's budget. My concern would be that given the number of accidents we've seen at grade crossings, given the simple, direct relationship between relocating those crossings, putting an underpass under it, a little bridge over it, or simply improving the safety measures around it, the direct link between that and saving people's lives, and the large number of grade crossings, there are 5,300 in my state alone, do you think that's an adequate amount of resources to address this problem? And could you just speak to the importance of those grant programs?
Well, first of all, Congressman, my condolences to the constituents in your area who either were victimized by this incident or have been alarmed by what happened there. And my heart and prayers go out to the family and friends of those who died. Safety is the top priority of USDOT, and what you're speaking to are sort of 2 variations on how we attack this issue. One is making sure that we have adequate resources to do grade crossings and the safety measures associated with them as best we can. We do have programs in the Federal Government to help with that. We're also studying new technologies and other things that could help us advance safety on conventional grade crossings. The other question that you're raising gets back to this question of our infrastructure deficit, which is, are there ways that we can grade separate to avoid those types of conflicts altogether? And the fact of the matter is, there's not enough money in the system to help us do that, particularly even on some of the highest danger areas.
So is it fair to say that the amount of money in the President's budget, which I believe is about $250 million for the Rail Highways Crossing Program is, in your mind, a minimum amount of money that would require to keep these crossings safe or to improve safety at that?
What I'm saying is that I think as far as that particular program, on an annual basis, that would be a helpful amount of money to have. But I think on the issue of separating grades, which comes through other programs like the Federal Highway Program or other programs in Federal Rail, right now, we're just not spending enough money to really attack that problem as comprehensively as we need to.
Thank you for that. I also, because my time is limited, want to shift topics to ask you about the DOT 111 rule. I appreciate your comments very much that this is a top priority for you. I know that it's been moved over now to the White House. What is your expectation about when we can get a DOT 111 rule to get these cars upgraded in time to do us some good? We had a hearing last week on this very subject, but everyone seems to be frustrated with the time it's taking. So I appreciate your remarks that it's a priority. I know you've done your piece of this recently. What is a realistic time frame to be getting a final rule on this critical issue?
It's a time frame that goes beyond my ownership. This is an administration-wide interagency review that has to occur. And we are pushing as hard and as fast as we can. I cannot give you a time frame, but what I can tell you is there is no one in my building or at the White House or any place else that's confused about how urgently I think this rule needs to move forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank the gentleman. With that, I recognize Mr. Massey for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Foxx, thanks for coming here today. I really appreciate your comments, and I'm reminded of why I like serving on this committee. We had